Hello everyone and welcome to another special Gamereactor video. I'm Magnus and you might remember that earlier in the year we decided that we wanted to take a look at what kind of bags you as a consumer could take a look at and perhaps even purchase in order to protect your valuable consumer electronics. The point was very simple. We show you a lot of cool tech here on our various videos. If it is just, running through expensive graphics cards, to laptops, to headphones, to AirPods, and everything in between, all of that stuff is really expensive, yet we actually never featured a way for you to protect them while you're on the move. Well, that was something that we set out to change. And so we featured a number of backpacks that you could, take an interest in if you wanted to protect your valuable consumer electronic goods. The most expensive, most luxurious one that we featured was the Noriv Urban Backpack, made by artisan craftsmen in Saint-Tropez. And we got some feedback from you that was very clear, and that was, we want the build quality, the niceness, the luxuriousness of the Noriv Urban Backpack, but we want a bit more functionality as well. So we looked high and low, and we think we found perhaps a way to combine those two things, like maybe the functionality of the Razer backpack with the luxurious nature of the Noriv Urban Backpack. And that is what I have in front of me here today. What I might think, at least at this point in time, is the perfect way of transporting your expensive consumer electronics in style and luxury and all of that stuff. This right here is the Leon. It is the first real fully fledged travel backpack from a company called Buckle and Seam that we reached out to, which was so gracious as to send us this test unit here. And the point of Buckle and Seam is really fascinating, and I think it deserves to be told here on the show very quickly before we take a look at the backpack itself. So, Buckle and Seam was created out of some chance encounters with the people behind it working in Pakistan. And when they were working in Pakistan in conjunction with the work that they were doing there, they got pretty fascinated with the quality of the leather coming from there. So what they decided to do is that they wanted to create luxurious leather goods using locally sourced leather from Pakistan, and not only to give protection and well-paid work to some of the artisans, some of the craftsmen that they met down there, but also to spotlight the quality of the leather coming from there. And I think that was pretty cool. They also know that there is, that leather in and of itself is a bit of a luxury that some people might think that we, as a species, haven't, earned in some way, shape, or form. That is why that by cutting out the middleman and controlling both manufacturing and the selling of a backpack like Leon, they're actually able to donate 3% of their total revenue to a really good cause. I think it's called One Bag, One Child. And what it essentially means is that they can cover, for every backpack sold, they can cover 100% of the schooling, the teacher salaries, and the student tuitions for local children. And I think that is really cool as well. So, all of that stuff aside, what is the Leon like as a backpack for your tech? Well, let's start with the outside. This leather that covers the entire front and the sides of the backpack, as well as this, we'll get to that, and the straps, you can get that in two different types of leather. Either a cognac, classic leather look, or this blue one that I have here. It does scratch a bit easily, but the quality is just absolutely fantastic. You get one front-facing pocket here, which I use to keep my keys. It's very easily accessible. I like it. I like having just one little snug space where I can keep something that I need very quickly without it losing any safety, and I don't do that here. Then you have one central room here. By the way, the inline the inlining, you can choose between 3 different kinds. I chose this, and I think it looks absolutely wonderful. Inside, I have, some headphones, a wallet, a a charger for my laptop, all that stuff. And there's also a little cubby hole down here, which I think is really lovely, that you can just keep some extra stuff in. I think I have maybe a set of AirPods. Yeah, I do. So that's, pretty simple. One extra thing here for something that you want to keep extra safe. So behind here, this is what qualifies it for our series, by the way. Let me just do these up so we can take an easier look at it. Is a dedicated sort of laptop portion. That is what the Nariv actually missed, because that was just one central room where you could where there was a little sleeve towards the back of the bag where you could keep a laptop. This has a laptop compartment where you could ostensibly also keep several laptops, or a laptop and an iPad, in perfect safety. I think that is nice as well. So I have some documents and a MacBook Air down here, and it's just nice. There's extra space for it. It's easily accessible. I like it. So doing this up, there is these straps here covered in leather, and then actually, just to make it extra good for traveling and for longer use, these are really padded. It's not just a leather strap. They actually took the time to create a leather covered front strap here, but then padded it towards the back in the same color as the leather itself. And as you can see, this is really, really padded as well. So the padding is one thing, but you might also immediately notice this, and you might also be a bit confused as to the immediate use of this little extra strap here, which is also sitting on a bit of elastic fabric here, which you can sort of pull it. But there's a very good reason to having something like that, because this bag is made for travel mainly, and you might want to, when you're at the airport, you might, have seen what I'm about to show you as well. So let me just show you. Because if you have, let's say, I know this is a bit of a bad example of how these bags can look, but the point is that if you have one of these, you might have one of these. That pulls up, that means that you can carry it effortlessly through an airport. And you might not want to have this on your back, because the more you have it off your back, the more comfortable it is. But how can you carry both at the same time? Well, that is where this strap comes in. And it is something that you see on sort of very businessy backpacks around, but the Buckle and Seam Leon has the same thing. And as you can see, this actually makes it so that you can effortlessly and comfortably carry both around a busy airport. You can also wear it on the back, of course, if you want to, but I just think it's a nice little extra thing for the weary traveler looking for something luxurious and nice that you can also just very easily pop onto a different travel bag. So, very good little feature there. Let me just very quickly reset the set so we can get to the rest of the information on this. So, a good story, great materials, a choice for the user in terms of the inlining and the color of the outside leather, and in case you didn't forget to see, yes, my initials, Magnus Groth Anderson, is also on this bag. You can choose to get that yourself. I chose to get that. I haven't looked back. I haven't regretted it since, even though it might be a bit narcissistic. Is there any possible downsides to this? Because as you can see, I think I've demonstrated that admirably. It is quite beautiful, at least I think so. It's classical, it's anonymous, the leather is lovely in detail, and it's comfortable to wear, as any sort of good tech backpack is, but it has sort of that luxurious, gentleman-like finish, which the Nariv also had. Well, one thing that I came across, I asked Buckle and Seam about this, because it seems like the straps are a bit short. I mean, in order just to make it appear as if I'm not, wearing it up on my shoulders, I've extended them just to right here, to the very edges. And even if I sometimes get up or I attack them from a wrong angle, they'll pull out entirely. So they seem like they're a bit short, that's one thing. And another, even though that they've cut out the middleman, it's not cheap. It's around 300 euros. That's a lot of money for a backpack. It is still cheaper than the Nariv, mind you, but it is not cheap. But It's lovely material, it's lovely to wear, and I have all the space I need for the items that I've spent a lot of money on and matters most to me. So for me, it gets that job done, and more so than any one of the backpacks that we've featured in this series. So for a full written article on the buckle and seam Leon, as well as perhaps more videos on buckle and seam items in the future, stay tuned to Gamereactor.